Well, welcome everybody. It's Richard Fluke, and we're just about to really start. Welcome to the 5 steps to getting back to wellness naturally. And I think we're going to have a really good time here. I've got some amazing material to share with you, and we'll just give it a time for me to just have a sip of tea so that um, well, we have just let a few more people actually come uh, into the room. So let's actually really start. How's that? I'm going to share some slides with you. That's what I plan to do today, and I think I'm really excited about this brand new material. So let's get straight into it. So let's start there. So I need to do that. Good. So welcome to the 5 steps to getting back to wellness naturally with me, Richard Fluke. And what we're going to be doing and what we're going to be discussing is, and what we're going to cover, are why use these 5 steps. I'm also going to give you a few stories of clients who have used the 5 steps and explore each one of these 5 steps and their background and how they actually work, how you can apply them in your work. I'm also hopefully going to be able to answer some questions. There is a chat room here, and I'd love you to ask me questions on the fly. I can actually do that. It's on your right-hand side. Just ask questions there, and I'd love to hear from you, especially about any of the material that we're going through. And if you like what I have to share with you, then will it be okay that I show you some of my courses and some of the other things that we've got here as well? And of course, if this is valuable, that's great. And you go, well, yeah, not really interested in the courses. I'm okay. I'm absolutely certain that you will have gained some incredible information here. It's taken me over 25 years to piece all this stuff together. So this isn't something that I've been working on the back of a cigarette packet. Not that I smoke. Just kidding. No, it's taken me 25 years to put all this stuff together. And also, you might want to book some time with me to explore what your personal needs are as well. And we'll go through that as we explore these 5 steps. So let's come over here. So let's start off with some due diligence. Now, we're in the medical field. We really have to do this, or medical energy field, whether we call it that or not. What I want to do is just explain a couple of things, and I'm sure you know this if you've been involved in this arena for some time. If you haven't, then this is worth listening to. If you or your clients are suffering from any form of medical or psychological issue or pain, if you've not already done so, go see your doctor and tell them what's happening to you. It's fairly obvious, especially before you even embark on any of this particular material. I think that's fairly obvious. Okay, let's get on to this next slide here. Why use the 5 steps? Are you frustrated that your clients are not getting well as quickly as you'd like them to? Maybe some of you say, well, no, they really do incredibly well very quickly. Are you asking yourself, am I missing something? Do you ever see yourself as a band-aid solution as your clients keep coming back for the same problem over and over again? I found that. That's not what you generally want for your clients, is it? I know that's not, is it? So what if there was a way for you to quickly find and clear the underlying problem, the root of your client's issues? That's what we're going to explore. And before we do that, let's go into the most favorite subject on the planet, as far as I'm concerned, me. Well, you know what I mean. It's who am I? Who are you speaking to? Well, my name is Richard Fluke. I'm an author and an international speaker in this energetic field. And I've been in it for over 25 years, as I've said before, but I didn't get into it just out of the blue. A couple of things did happen along the way that caused me to follow this particular path. I originally wanted to get into medicine, but I didn't. I went down an energetic path, somewhat kicking and screaming, I will be honest with you. But I'm here and I love what I do, and I'm sure everyone here is listening also loves what they do. So who am I? I'm an author of the book Why Am I Sick? That's published through Hay House. And it's all about how to find out what's really wrong using a thing I developed called Advanced Clearing Energetics, or ACE for short. You can see that on the logo on the left-hand side. And I've been teaching this material to people for over 20 years. I've been involved in it for over 25, so I spent a lot of time just learning my trade, and I've got thousands of students worldwide. And I've taught everybody from mums and dads to practitioners, nurses, doctors, surgeons, psychiatrists, and even top blue chip companies as well. So I've also been a speaker at large conferences around the world. So people have said that you're in pretty good hands. That's what they say to me. Okay, so let's talk about the history of the 5 steps. Basically, in a nutshell, I'll give you a tiny potted history. My mother got breast cancer, and this was after leaving my dad and 3 boys. I'm the middle of 3 boys. You can learn more about that because there is a whole webinar or a training on richardfluke.com. It's a free video series. You can learn all about that. But the thing was that my mum died of breast cancer after a very acrimonious divorce, and also moving a very long distance away in the United Kingdom, some 8 to 10 hour drive away from 3 boys. I mean, I don't know how she did it. I was only 8 when she left, and she died when I was 12. So she really fought very, very hard. And I looked at the whole medical profession thing, and I wanted to find out solutions to that. Why did she get so unwell? Well, then I was dragged into this particular field, energy medicine, trained in all sorts of different disciplines along the way. And this was really what I came across as I learned more of those disciplines over the past 25 years. Is what I discovered was the success of the energetic therapies, which often claim to be able to heal in their own right. And I've been involved in many. They work because the person combined that therapy with other healing modalities, often unconsciously. So these things really do work, but it's not like everybody says on the tin that there's, I can go off and do this one modality. And that was the reason why I got well. So they might say, I took this supplement. I don't know about you, but people often say, there's this amazing new supplement, and I took that and that killed my problem. My thinking and exploring more is because they changed something else as well. They did something else as well on that journey. And this is what the 5 steps are all about. So the answer is to consciously then combine each one of the 5 steps to wellness, which I'm going to show you. Therefore, stacking the chances of complete healing in your favor as a practitioner. So again, just going back to what I discovered is you'll hear people say, well, I went off and I did a massive detox, and that was the reason why my problem went away. Or I cut out sugar and then I lost all this weight, and wheat, and that was why I'm so much better now. Or I took these supplements, these energetic supplements, and that cleared my depression, or something like that. And it's all about, but on my looking at all those things, there was something else going on. And if we can bring all those things into a conscious, beautifully elegant sequence, which is what the 5 steps are, then we have a chance to really stack in our favor a complete healing energetically, naturally. So how do we use these 5 steps? I'll go through exactly what they are in a minute. But there's something really interesting that I noticed as well, is that people do stuff externally. So they take nutritional supplements, or they go off and sit on a beach and meditate for days and days after they've been through a horrific situation, or they might actually change a part of their diet dramatically, or they might go and do yoga or qigong, and that's been what they cite as their solution. But all these things are about working on the inside and also working on the outside. So what I found was there are two sides to the 5 steps. One, we have to work on the inside, that's mentally with the ideas, the thoughts, the issues that are going on. And we also need to work on the inside with our gut system and the things that we actually put inside our system, including things like vaccines, which is very much a hot topic right at the moment if you've been anywhere near Facebook, and Robert De Niro and vax and all that sort of stuff. So anything that you're putting inside your system, including pollution as well that we breathe in. So how also we use it as well, and this is going to run all the way through the whole of these 5 steps, is we have what's going on inside and also what's going on outside. So we need to change what we're thinking, but we've also got to change what's going on outside. So these are our relationships and also our workplace. Where the workplace, is my wife is a stay-at-home mum. Her workplace, as she said one day to me, she said, I'm bringing up Oliver, our son, and the living room and this particular space, this is my office, Richard. I don't want you working in my office. I went, fair comment, because it was causing a lot of stress, me just in there sometimes. And that was fascinating. So the workplace isn't just, a traditional office place. It can be wherever we are. Okay. Right. Throughout, I will explain each step with the 2 sides, how to use the 5 steps, explaining how to use these 2 sides when getting back to wellness, share what types of interventions you could use in each of these cases, and show you what I discovered and have developed using 25 years of working in this field. So here are the 5 steps. So let's just go through them. First one is redress your stress. The second one is to release your toxins. The third one is to reduce your inflammation. And the fourth one is to reclaim your environment. And the fifth one is to raise your energy. And we're going to go through each one individually in a lovely structured format, which I think you'll enjoy. So let's go and explore each one of these. Step 1 is to redress your stress. And this is the real thing that I notice is, what does really cause a disease? And that was a question. Why did my mum, for example, get breast cancer? And I had a very recent, massive realization. And it's this: you cannot heal yourself unless you deal with the underlying stressful events, what I coined the Yudin moments, and I'll show you what that is in a moment, that caused your issue to occur in the first place. And you know what? That really answers a heck of a lot about energetic medicine. Now, everybody here hopefully is involved or understands some things about energetic medicine, or energetics, I like to call it. And you realize that there is something that potentially could cause a disease to occur. And that thing can be a stressful event. So let's go and have a look at what that stressful event is. It's what I coined was a Yudin moment. You see, stress is around us in all areas of our lives. And does stress in and of itself cause us a disease? No. It's what triggers us that makes us incredibly stressed that is the cause of a disease. And what triggers that is what is called a Yudin moment. Let me just rephrase that. So for example, if you're driving down the highway or the motorway to to somewhere and you are feeling stressed because of that, is that going to cause a disease? No. What causes a disease is a specific stressful event, and that is a Yudin moment. So here is an example of one. And a Yudin moment is the acronym that stands for something that is unexpected, something that's very dramatic, something that isolates us, something where we have no strategy for dealing with that particular problem. So here is an example, and I said it on the small earlier video. Imagine someone comes home, a partner comes home, and that partner comes in the front door, and imagine that this is a family that have had children, mortgage perhaps paid off, they've been with each other for 30 odd years, and then what happens is that the the person comes in and says to their partner, can you sit down? And they sit down and their heart starts beating. And then from the heart starts beating, the person then says, I've got something to tell you. And then they say, I've been sleeping with your best friend. Okay, that's a Yudin moment. Why? Because if this partner had no idea this was going on, that would be unexpected. Okay, very dramatic as well. If you think about it, the drama involved with that, you know, they've got joint bank accounts, they've been with each other for 30 years, all the history and everything else, a tremendous amount of drama in what has just been said. Very isolating as well. I mean, I don't know about you. We have a thing over here in Canada where I live, and I think it's in the United States. I don't know whether it's in parts of Europe, but it's called eHarmony. I mean, suddenly going on to eHarmony and looking up and finding a new mate, not going to happen. And also isolating in as far as the one person that person wants to speak to, their best friend, they can't. And of course, best friends have large circles of other friends, don't they? So, you know, there's this bigger influence that just completely isolates you or that person. And like I said, no strategy. Getting onto eHarmony is not going to happen, is it? Or what would a person do with regards to that? So that's basically what's going on there. So let's go on to the next slide. So what does a Yudin look like? Well, here is one. And what I worked out through all my work is that a Yudin moment is like a trapped ball of energy of an event that sits inside the nervous system of an individual. So what actually happens is this: as we go through that Yudin moment, let's imagine that situation again, this individual. And this particular Yudin moment is about 10 to 15 seconds long. That's all they are. They're not very big. They're very sort of small chunks of information full of lots of energy. And inside them, we have sounds, pictures, feelings, tastes, and smells. So let's, oh, I've come back too far. And I've gone way too far here. So let's just come back here. Oh, I needed to go and press on that button, not do anything else. Let me see if I can just do that and then play this one.
Worthless excuse for a man that I've ever met. What kind of father are you? You are the most completely worthless excuse for a man that I've ever met. What kind of caregiver are you? What do you have to show forth to your kids?
So it'll repeat again.
Worthless excuse for a man that I've ever met. What kind of father are you? You are the most completely worthless excuse for a man that I've ever met. What kind of caregiver are you? What do you have to show forth to your kids?
Now, shut her up, because it goes on and on and on and repeats. Because that's essentially what is going on inside a person, is that as they are going through a Yudin moment, and I'm just going to come off the slides for a moment. As a person goes through a Yudin moment, what is, oh dear, there's something else that's just stopped as well. So bear with me. I've got to just press a recording button again and start that one again. Right. Good. So what is going on during that particular time is that this Yudin moment, this event, gets trapped inside the heart, or it lands in the heart. It also then goes up into the brain. It also lands in the gut system. So we literally have three separate areas it lands, and those three separate areas have their own nervous systems. Now, once that Yudin moment has occurred as well, which is really quite incredible, a specific organ that is literally vibrating at the same frequency as the event outside basically goes to work, and it starts to change and augment itself, eventually ending up in a disease, so, or a particular issue, or even a psychological problem of some sort, or pain. And that's basically what's happening during a Yudin moment. So let's go back to the slides again, and let me just see if I can actually do that easily, because I want to just explain something about Yudin moments and this whole idea that what causes a disease is a Yudin moment. And the fact is that in the 5 steps, we need to clear that Yudin moment first. So I've got a little video for you. This is of a lady called, a lovely person actually, called, let's see, here we go, Alexander Evans. So I'm going to let her know. I don't know whether this is going to play that well, but we will have a go and see what happens here.
My name's Alex, and I recently just did a session with Richard Fluke. I'm a yoga teacher, and I'm also a yoga studio owner, and I'm studying to become an osteopath. So I'm generally quite healthy. I eat well, I exercise, I'm conscious to get body work done frequently, but I recently suffered a pretty bad flu that kind of came on after I'd experienced some difficult stuff in my personal life. And within about half an hour of doing the session with Richard, a lot of my symptoms were subsiding. The flu lasted for almost 2 weeks for me, and I got the chills and the fever and this terrible chest congestion, this terrible cough, exhaustion, basically the typical flu symptoms, bedridden for 5 or 6 days. And so anyway, within a few minutes of working with Richard, my sinuses cleared. I felt like my energy was coming back, and we worked through a lot of the emotional stuff that I think was causing the flu to come on, and the illness. So we released all of that, and I felt so much better within 24 hours. I turned the corner and felt like I was well on my way to recovery, and 2 days later, completely over it. So I really recommend working with Richard. He's fantastic at getting to the root of a lot of the deeper emotional stuff that you might not even realize that you're holding on to and carrying around, but it is in some way affecting your personal life, your professional life, and preventing you from moving forward to live a better life. So my experience working with him has been profound, and it's helped me a lot, specifically getting over this terrible flu. So yeah, thanks.
So that's Alexander's experience of just the whole point I want to say is what is it when we are dealing with one of these Yudin moments? We need to release that first. I mean, essentially, you could do all the amazing work, like you could clear all your stuff out, no problem. You could clear, deal with all the inflammation, toxic stuff. You could be as healthy as Alex is, but it doesn't solve the problem. Okay. So the secret is to clear the Yudin moment first, that sickening shock that caused the problem to occur. So how do you do that? We can do the outside work, as I said earlier. We're going to talk about that. So we stop denying the obvious elephant in the room. Okay, stop denying you have an issue and recognize you have a problem, and stop trying to work it out on your own. I don't know how many of you have actually spent trying to work a problem out. It doesn't work as well as just getting in front of someone. I spent 3 months trying to solve a problem, and you know what? Within 20 minutes, a friend of mine came over and we cleared it out. In 20 minutes, 3 months, 20 minutes, 3 months, 20 minutes. You can see there's an obvious advantage there to working with an individual. And next, take action to deal with it. That's really what I'm saying here. So let's go on to the next slide here. So doing the inside work, you can do that inside work with EFT and any of the derivatives, such as matrix reimprinting from my friend Carl Dawson. There's also emotrance and other types of techniques. There's also hypnosis, cognitive behavioral therapy, NLP, timeline therapy, EMDR. I'm trained in hypnosis, NLP, timeline therapy, not EMDR, psychotherapy, theta healing, all these amazing techniques. But this is what I found is there's a problem. These interventions are fantastic. Remember, I'm trained in many of them, but they don't get to the core of the real problem. And why? It's not been possible to. Really? Honestly, it's not been possible to. And it's not been, you could get there, but it would take you a heck of a long time. So getting there really quickly and clearing those underlying shocks was the key. And now that's possible. So my work in advanced clearing energetics allows you to literally get to the root of a problem of pain, of a problem of a disease, of a problem of a psychological issue, any of those types of things. It allows us to literally, as Karen Davison said to me one day, the lady on the previous slide, she said, it's like you've got a roadmap of exactly where you need to go. But more importantly, not only have we got a roadmap, but we've also got a way to reverse that roadmap. So let's look at a few more things about the 5 steps. So once you cleared the Yudin moments, your body now needs to heal itself. So step 2 is we need to release your toxins. And this is what stops cells from healing. But why do you need to detoxify? Because I would often come across this and people say, oh, you've got to detoxify. I go, well, why? And the reasons why is your cells' ability to heal themselves are severely hindered if the environment the cells are living in is a toxic soup. So why detoxify? In your everyday life, you are subjected to a multitude of toxic products. These include foods, genetically modified organisms, herbicides and pesticides on all your foods, chemicals used in manufacturing and pollution, electromagnetic forces, cell phones, computers, and Wi-Fi's, and of course, very popular right at the moment are vaccines. Okay, but here's the problem: nutrition. The problem was nutrition turned out to be a minefield of conflicting information. Government's guidelines saying one thing, others saying another, but the truth really is very simple. So this is the history of where I came across this. It's all part of this step 2 to release the toxins. I was doing some research for my new book, which honestly is still not out yet because of the 5 steps that you're hearing about now. This is what is going to be in the new book. This is basically taken me all this time to actually compile this and just go, oh, this is so simple. So during that research, I was looking into toxins in food. I was continuously unwell. I'd arrived over in Canada here and had been here for a couple of years. And over that time, I was just feeling worse and worse and worse. My belly was extended, although I was eating a healthy diet. I mean, I don't eat wheat, for argument's sake. I rarely drink any alcohol. I don't even drink coffee. I drink green tea and all these other types of things. And I was going, what is going on inside my belly? And it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And then one of my students mentioned, had I considered the impact of GMOs in my diet? And I said, what? Because I come from Europe, I'm English. We don't have GMOs. And if we do, you can pick up the packet and you can turn it over and you go, oh yeah, it includes genetically modified organisms. And because we don't want them in our diet over in Europe, you know what? We don't buy that stuff. So there's very little of that stuff around. But I was so horrified by what I discovered, I wrote a book about it. And here it is. And it's called Why Shouldn't I Eat Genetically Modified Foods? Now, it's a pinnacle book, as from my perspective. Genetically modified foods are everywhere in North American society, and don't think you're getting off the hook in Europe. Most of the animals are fed with genetically modified grains, and it's going to get worse because now there is such a backlash to genetically modified foods over here in North America that they can't get rid of this stuff. And they're just feeding it to animals wherever anybody will take it, and it's dirt cheap. So your eggs, your dairy, your milk is all full of genetically modified grains. Was made from genetically modified foods that have gone through an animal, or if you're eating meat, then that's basically where it is. Now, if you would like, I'd love to share you a link so you can read that if you haven't already got it. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later on as a gift, basically. So doing the outside work, let's look at it from the outside and the inside again, is what we need to do in order to solve this underlying problem. Is we need to change your diet so your body can eliminate toxins, remove the GMOs, animal proteins that are fed on GMOs, and practically all fish. Fish, a lot of the farmed fish, all genetically modified. Grains are going into that. But more importantly, the fish are full of now plastics, mercury, the bigger chain fish. There's very small ones, sardines, not so bad, but the bigger fishes are just not good anymore. And the farm fish is horrendous. We also need to eat organic foods, and we need to drink plenty of clean water. We actually get water in our house. We bring it in those big bottles. You also need to do enemas. Oh, there we go. Enemas are things where you shove it up your bum and clean your colon. You don't have to do that all the time, but this is all about removing the toxicity. We need to flush the liver, basically. Also fast and do vegetable juicing. So doing the outside work, here are some simple ways to detox: simple fruit and veggie detox, smoothie cleanse, juice cleanse, sugar detox, hypoallergenic detox. And the problem is not getting to the core. Why has it not been possible to quickly find and clear those underlying toxic parts? In fact, I haven't. I think I've missed out a slide here. Yeah, I have. Oh, here it is. There's a slide. I'll go back. I wonder what happened there. So how do we do the inside work? We need to clear the toxic relationships. So that guy that we talked about earlier, he's a toxic guy. Comes in, he's suddenly having an affair with a best friend. That's toxic. So you want to clear those toxic relationships. Also, often we have family members, maybe family members we've married into can be toxic as well. So we need to clear those. We could do NLP parts integration. Matrix reimprinting looks at it in a beautiful way. Gestalt therapy, family constellations, as you can see, great way of doing all that inside mental work. And the problem, these interventions again are not getting to the core. Why? Again, it's not been possible to quickly, and that's the key word, quickly find and clear those underlying toxic parts until now. And that's basically what my work in advanced clearing energetics allows you to do, just that very quickly. So once you've detoxified the mind and the body, you need to get rid of inflammation. So the third step, you need to reduce your inflammation. What causes pain to ramp up? Yes, inflammation causes pain. So while dealing with inflammation, inflammation is part of your body's immune response. Without it, you can't heal. But when it's out of control, as in rheumatoid arthritis, it can actually damage your body. Plus, it's thought to play a role in obesity, heart disease, and cancer. Definitely plays a role with those. So here's one of my very good ACE masters. Her name is Dr. Diana Hunyadi, Stefani Hunyadi. It seems, and she said this to me one day, it's amazing. Not word for word, but basically this is what she says. It seems that over 50% of all clients seeking medical treatment in a doctor's surgery are suffering from acute or chronic inflammation. She was specifically talking about what I'm about to share with you now. What causes inflammation is by the kidneys retaining water in them. And it's containing water in and around the area in the body that is going through its healing process. And now this is key. So if we have a swollen knee, it's because the knee is healing and the water collects in and around that. If we have a swollen belly, it's because the water can collect in and around the swollen belly. But what also makes that swelling even worse, and it's the same with headaches, by the way, the head just swells up with water, is there is a syndrome. There's a link between this water and what's happening inside a person's body. It's called the kidney collecting tubule syndrome. And this is a very old program designed by the body to stop us from dehydrating. So let's look at the outside work that you need to do in order to solve that problem, and then the inside work. So how you deal with it outside is you need to cut out all processed sugar, including grains such as wheat and corn, use antioxidants, cut out all animal-based products from your diet. I don't know whether you've come across a fabulous book called The China Study, where they basically said, look, you know, animal-based products causes inflammation, causes disease, basically. And we've got proof over 20 years in a society that we've got all these figures, and the truth is there. So the final conclusion of that really is that you need to cut out all dairy, cheese, milk, yogurts, and products made with dairy products, eggs or meat, fish, animal-based fats. I mean, hey, you know, it's that's if you've got an inflammation problem. And have you ever noticed this? And I was looking at some pictures here from, say, Instagram, and they were all talking about weight loss, particularly wheat belly. And one of the things that was very fascinating from that was that if you look at wheat, which causes inflammation, then if you cut that out of your diet, you can literally lose a lot of weight. But what you're actually losing is not fat. You're losing the inflammation. Yes, there is some fat loss, but you're losing the inflammation. So I believe most weight loss programs work because you reduce your inflammation. Isn't that amazing? Okay. So now how about doing the inside work? We need to clear the fight, flight, freeze response around all traumas. Now, there's Dr. Levine's somatic experiencing can do that. And we also need to clear your feelings of being abandoned, isolated, left out in the desert, freezing cold and alone. Now, the reason why we need to do that is because that's what the kidneys are doing. That's what they're part of. They're retaining this water in the system, in your body, so that you don't die of that dehydration. Now, this freeze response happens in animals, and human beings, we tend not to let go of that. And I wanted to show you very basically what happens, not if we don't let go of it, but how really the body can hold on to this. And this is this comes from Dr. Levine's somatic experience. I thought it was fascinating. So I'd like to just show you this little video here, and of what happens with a bear who's been shot basically with a tranquilizer gun, and this is pretty amazing stuff. So I'll read this out. In virtually all cases, when an animal survives an attack by a predator, it comes out of the freeze response. They will begin to tremble and discharge the pent-up energy. This can be a subtle trembling, as you'll see in I think they call it a type of seizure. The animal is actually replicating, completing the last protected motor and muscular survival responses he was making just prior to entering the freeze. In the next video segment, you'll see a polar bear experiencing this freeze response. Quite amazing. So come on, let's. So they shot the polar bear.
If you watch that animal after he finishes convulsing, you'll see, because he's aware of the fact that we're all around him, and it's a very stressful experience for an animal like a polar bear. And after he settles down, and then he'll start doing a couple of deep breaths, and then he'll breathe really nicely, and it'll here he goes. See how he's breathing there now? See, so that even though it looks a little unpleasant to look at it convulsing like that, in fact, it lets off all that stress, and he then is able to relax and sleep the thing off.
Okay, so that's the long-term observations of animals who complete this discharge show no adverse effects. And that's interesting on their health or well-being. Okay. So the thing that why that's interesting is because as human beings, if we're sort of like pushed out, shot, or pushed out into the desert, we're left to die almost, then the body will retain water in order that we don't feel abandoned, in order that we don't have a problem, in order that we don't feel fearful or angry or freeze. But essentially, as human beings, we do a lot of that. We have this consciousness, so we hold on to that particular problem. And here is the problem. The interventions, even with somatic experience, seem to take a long time. I know someone has been doing it for months, and it's helping. There's no doubt about it. But they don't get to the core, again, because it's not been possible to quickly find and clear the underlying abandonment issues until now. In ACE, we pioneered how to reduce the swelling in clients caused by the kidney collecting tubule syndrome. So maybe you might be saying, yeah, this is good stuff, and I want to discover more. So if you love what you're hearing and seeing, book some time to explore these, and want to book some time to explore these 5 steps and learn more about the ACE courses, please do so. There is places to do this are limited, and here's the link. It's richardfluke.com/5 steps apply. Okay, so once we have the UDINs dealt with, toxicity released, inflammation reduced, it's now time to actually allow the body to heal. So this is the 4th step. It's about reclaiming your environment what causes you to repeat a problem if you don't do this. So why change the environment? The cells in the body need vital vitamins, minerals, and nutrients in order to repair and rebuild themselves. And I said earlier, didn't I, that you couldn't repair and rebuild if the cells were bathed in a toxic soup. So getting all of that, and part of the toxic soup is that inflammation, because it's part of that soup. Getting rid of those things, and also that Yudin moment as well, it now has the chance to do that if you give it the right vital vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. In order to achieve this, we also need to be away from all stressful situations, work, relationships, and challenging spaces. And we also need time to heal as well. So what happens during a disease? So we have our Yudin moment, and then we go into what is called the sympathetic nervous system. So it's we're in under stress. We're in a sympathetic state. When we are resting, healing, we are in a parasympathetic state. Okay. And when we look at our environment, though, during the sympathetic stage, the body is acidic. It's acid. This is why when we're in a sympathetic stage, we want sugars. We want fast foods. We want all those types of things which we know as individuals, if you've been in this field for long enough, you know are not good for you. But that as the body goes into rebuild and repair, it becomes alkaline. I don't know whether you've ever noticed this. When you start to heal and you feel you got less energy than you did before because you're not stressed and you're resting, then what will happen is you want gorgeous quality foods. And that old stress stuff, you're not attracted to it anymore. You want the really good food. And that's because your body craves alkaline style foods. And if everything is correctly in place, in theory, the body can heal itself naturally. So doing the outside work, we need foods that are high in alkalinity. Bathe each cell in highly nutritious foods full of vitamins and minerals that are organic based, preferably plant based, vegetable juicing. And we need to add fats. This whole fallacy that fats are bad for you is just garbage. Certain fats, yes, but the majority of fats are not bad for you, and they certainly don't cause fat. So you just read the latest literature. And we also need to change our work and our workplace as well. And of course, rest. So there's a picture of me. I've just got a load of gorgeous vegetables on my table downstairs. Big smile on my face, feeling very good. Anyway, there we are. Getting vitamins and minerals into your body. The quickest way to get all these wonderful vitamins and minerals into your body is through juicing, using organic raw foods and beautifully prepared soups and salads. You can become vegan while you are healing. It seems a simple way to approach this step. And I got this, by the way, from Gerson therapy. So if you've come across Gerson therapy, you'll understand what I'm doing here. It's not nothing new, but it's just amazingly simple. And there's loads and loads of talk about juicing on the web now. And doing the inside work, we need to forgive. We need to learn to love ourselves, and we need to let go of old attachments. Now, this is a beautiful picture from one of my ACE masters, Kate Strong. And she put it on Facebook the other day, and I loved it. I just thought, I am enough. It just was gorgeous. And it really is about, she's been through a massive journey herself, just forgiving and then learning to love herself and letting go of all those old attachments as well. It was a beautiful thing. And she's an amazing, amazing person. So using ACE with the environment. The thing is, the thing is, you see, what I also noticed was that how do you go about doing that forgiving? I noticed that you could do various processes, couldn't you, with advanced with all these different things about forgiveness, but they never really truly forgave you. Again, what we need to do is we need to forgive those individuals and those things, those places, the environment on an inside basis. And in ACE, I developed a process called cutting the ties that bind, which cuts the connections with you and those people, those things, those thoughts, beliefs, and places that were energetically connected to your issue. And that's the key. It's not about just doing everything. It's about letting go of what's energetically connected to your issue. So going right to the core again. And this changes the whole way you react around those people, places, and things. And the net effect is you change your environment. It's pretty weird, but it is amazingly releasing and forgiving. And you end up sort of really having quite an epiphanetic situation yourself. You feel very good. So, and the problem, how do you do that quickly and simply? In ACE, we can very quickly cut the energetic ties, the ties that bind people, things, and old thoughts. And as I said, specifically to a problem that is going on inside a person. That's the difference that makes a difference. This changes the whole way you react around those people, places, and things. Now we have everything in place. We need the energy to complete the healing journey. Because this is the other thing that I noticed. Oh, if you're ready to discover more, remember there's the link just to remind you, richardfluke.com/5steps apply. I'll put it in the chat box here very briefly. If I can just copy it. Oh, it's not going there very easily. Can I just copy that? I might be able to just put it in here. I could have written it in there quicker than that. There we go. So let me just go back to the next slide. So here's a fifth step: raise your energy. It's basically, if you don't do this, it causes you to fail, and it causes people to fail. So having cleared the udins, detoxified, reduced the inflammation, changed the environment, the next step in the body needs energy to complete the healing process. If the body does not have the energy to complete the process, we can become trapped in a never-ending healing loop. So why do you need to raise your energy? If you are not focusing on wellness, your body does not know where to go. If you're continuously walking around going, oh, things are bad. Oh, I don't know where to go. I don't know. You know, I never get well. I've been working on this for years and years and years. It's never, ever changed. But it sometimes gets better. But all those types of things, that's what we're talking about here. In fact, I had a client who was stuck for over 10 years in this same problem, had been working on himself for that amount of time and really hadn't gone to that extra space. And what I basically did with him is the process I'm going to share with you called Ace Your Future. And what I said to him is, look, you've got to start focusing on where you want to go. And that was his problem. He didn't need to do more therapy. Yes, it was worth it. But, you know, he just needed to stop focusing on where he was, which was just in a pretty challenging place, and focus on where he wanted to go, on his future, on him being well. So we need to focus on the roadmap of the body in complete wellness. We need to be able to see ourselves well. And I found this a beautiful quote from Eckhart Tolle or Tolle. Healing is as much in your mind as it is in your body. You create a good future by creating a good present. I love that. I've met Eckhart Tolle. He's an amazing, amazing guy. He's just completely zoned everybody out in a large audience. And actually, when I spoke to him, it's like, whoa, you know. Here we go. Here's the theory. When focusing on raising your energy, do something that you love, okay? Do an exercise that you love. Do something that you love to do. The test is, are you consistently feeling motivated to do it? So it's about doing the outside work through exercise that you love, through spending time in nature, as an example. Now, the exercise you love, it might be doing yoga. It might be, and I love doing yoga. And it took me years to find something that I love. I used to do basketball. I played, when I was younger, rugby. I've gone off. I've done golf. I've been to the gym and pushed weights. Never liked them. And the real test, remember what I said earlier? It was if you are motivated to go and do that. For example, if someone said, come on, let's do some yoga now, I'd be there. No, not an issue. I'd love it. But if someone said, come on, let's go off and play some basketball, I go, maybe I got other things I want to do instead. So I think that is the test. It's finding something that you love. And that could be, it could be horse riding. It could be riding a bike. It could be going for a long hike in nature. It could be sailing. It could be a multitude of different things. And not all of them involve going down to a gym and pushing weights, which I have to be honest, I hate. So, you know, you've got to find something that you love doing. And these things raise your energy. Okay, so doing the inside work, to regular goal setting, and I'm going to talk about Ace Your Future in a moment, through prayer and worship, through meditation, through storing and using energy healing as well, like Reiki. And here's a little picture of meditation in Madison Park in New York. And incredible. You can do this type of work anywhere. So there is a new process that I developed. It's only been around for not very long, actually, and it's called Ace Your Future. And Ace Your Future is a new process that creates what is called next moments. These are the opposites of Eudaimon moments. I've got a slide to show you on that. Next moments come from your spirit and are 100% aligned with who you are. And now that's the difference that makes a difference. You see, I've done so much goal setting. It's just tedious. I'm an NLP guy. That's all you do is set goals, and then you clear out all your stuff. And the goal setting is great. Believe you me, I've achieved some great things. But some of those things I achieved, I didn't really want to do. It was almost I had to do them because that's what other people suggested I did. And when we're dealing with wellness, we don't want that stuff. Like, you got to go off and do this intervention. You got to do that. You got to do this therapy. You got to do it. It's basically doing what you want. And that's in alignment with who you are spiritually. So it has to also be possible to quickly find these goals and set them. Well, it hasn't been possible to quickly find these goals and set them up until now. And that's what I discovered, is that all this stuff is really, really simple. And in ACE, we have a beautifully elegant way to be able to achieve that. Okay, so what starts a disease? Let me tell you what a next moment is now. Is that Eudaimon moment? We talked about that earlier. And so what starts wellness is believing you are well, which is the opposite of a Eudaimon moment. So instead of it unexpected, it's expected. Instead of it being dramatic, it's normal. Instead of it being isolating, it actually connects us. And instead of having no strategy, we have a strategy. That's what a next moment is. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Beautiful, beautiful work. I love next moments. They're really changing where I want to go in my world, and many of my students and my clients are finding exactly the same thing because they fit. You know, they are who you are. The mere fact of adding a new energy, using ACE with raising the vibration rate, the mere fact of adding a new energy to you will raise your vibration. By also adding a next moment will also do the same, continuously refocusing you by reminding you and maintaining your higher vibration. That's basically what it is. And it will increase all of that higher and higher and higher. And it's a bit like a helter-skelter, right? If you've ever looked at a helter-skelter, you get on, you climb all the way up the helter-skelter, you get on the top, and it goes round and round and round and round. Now, most people, they are on helter-skelters in their lives, and they get trapped in this negative energy. So the interesting thing is it takes more energy to go up a helter-skelter than go down it. But it's the same with healing. You need to continuously focus on being well. You need to basically put the effort in to go up that helter-skelter, to go up the spiral. And once you do it, it becomes a habit, and you have the energy to carry on. And that's the key, and that's the difference that makes a difference. And this is what Ace Your Future and those other types of things do. So here are the 5 keys to healing disease naturally using ACE, or Advanced Clearing Energetics. Let's go through them. Redress your stress. You need to clear those Eudins. Release your toxins. You need to clear the parts. Reduce your inflammation. You need to clear the KCTs. Reclaim your environment. You need to clear those unconscious connections. Raise your energy. You can do that with Ace Your Future. So I said, could I just share with you some of the things, the courses? Hopefully that's okay, and I'll give you that link again as well. But before I do that, I'd like to share with you as well just one of my students who started out with me quite some time ago, but give you an idea of just how amazing this ACE work is. So let's go and listen to Glenda Johnson.
Hi, I'm Glenda Johnson, and I'm a coach that works with other female coaches. I help them become amazing. And I also particularly focus on mental health issues. Recently, I had an issue yesterday, which totally knocked my knee and hip right out. I was in such excruciating pain, probably a 12 out of 10. And so I got a hold of Richard, and thankfully, we were doing his work, Advanced Clearing Energetics, which is so quick. And in less than 2 hours, I love to time things. I'm a girl about efficiency. It took an hour and 45 minutes where I could hardly breathe because the pain was so bad. And advanced clearing energetics allows us to quickly find out where the shocks have come from, and that trapped energy, being lodged in this case, in the right knee and the hip. And we identified where those shocks came from, cleared them, and then I went to bed. And this morning I woke up and it's like magic, because there's no pain, no swelling. It's almost like it was never there. And I'm an NLP trainer, and our tools and techniques of timeline therapy and hypnosis are fabulous. There's lots of alternative methods out there and modalities, and they work great. And when I came across advanced clearing energetics about 3 years ago, I always said it was like I found the missing piece. Able to clear out the old shocks, the trapped energy out of the body, and chronic health issues, they disappear, which is fabulous. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, because I couldn't believe it when I woke up and the pain was gone. So thank you very much, Richard, in Advanced Clearing Energetics.
So I'll just turn the volume down again there. So you can see from that, with Glenda there, she basically, this stuff seems to work, honestly. So I'm just going to come out. So yeah, this stuff seems to work. It's very elegant. And what I'd like to do now is just share a little bit about just some of the courses. And I got something else for you after that I think that you're going to like. Okay. So, right. And so I've got to start recording again. It's come out of all of that. Oh dear. That's not much fun. Okay. Right. Let me just come out of that. Okay. And come back into the slides here. So I have I have 5 courses, and these have taken me, like I said, years and years and years to develop. I've worked with some of the best minds I've come across in the energetic field and studying everything. So this is what ACE is all about, and it came, as I said, from working from this whole problem with my mum. And also, actually, I didn't tell you this, but I had a herniated disc, which either required surgery, and they even said the surgery probably won't work anyway. And I healed that using the basis behind this. So let's talk about the ACE courses. I'm going to be very brief about that. There's ACE Level 1 is a basic clearing strategy that Glenda talked about, and it's used all the way through. If you know EFT, you have the tapping points. Well, this basic clearing strategy is the same all the way through. You just have to memorize it once and you've got it. ACE 2 is your internal guidance system that's particularly looking at the body of how specific organs get disease and why they get disease, and answers those questions. Gives you that laser focus that we all want. And ACE 3 is the precise details of how and why we create and therefore heal psychological issues, and why and how to clear chronic issues. Probably got to update that slide. Bits missing here. ACE Level 4 is trainers training, in order that you can go off and train ACE Level 1, 2, and 3. And then ACE Level 5 is masters. There are a couple more stages, but they really are, they're in development at the moment. But anyway, let's go on to what I do have for you, which I think you'll like, because the 5 steps are really brand new. And I want to just also tell you a little bit about the courses. They are expensive. They're not cheap courses. They're not something you can do just pick up for $97. No, they're a lot more expensive than that. And why? It's because health truly does matter. Without it, you can't live your life. You are limited, and it can cost you a fortune. How much money have you already spent on health and not achieved your results yet, and even your clients' results? So here's an example. If someone is depressed, it can cost a family on average $35,000 a year in lost income. That's not me saying that. There's some genuine studies done over many, many years showing that that's the case. So health really does cost, and not being healthy really does cost. So if you've had a problem yourself, and I have, I actually lost some work because of my herniated disc. I can't really say more fairer than that. So, and I remember at that particular time, I would have given anything to solve that problem. In fact, I spent over $15,000 trying in a year, and wasted money. So, you know, there we go. So what I do have for you, and I think you'll love this, is I have a new course. It's called the 5 Steps to Coaching. And this is how it works, is I teach you the 5 steps, and you also get to work with me one-to-one to solve your problem as a coach, as a wellness coach. You also get to clear out issues with other students on the course. Basically, you get to practice. And if you sign up today, you will get the ACE Level 1 practitioner included, or equivalent if you've already an ACE student. Price is $2,500 US, but it's less than that, and that line should be cutting a little bit better than it is, but it isn't. So if you sign up today, though, then the investment in you is $1,500 US. Now, this is ridiculously below what it should be. This is a course that will be going out into the future. Places are limited. I can't have too many people with me working because you know, I'm limited in my own particular time. But I really want people to go off and use this information. So how do you get to do this? Let's talk, because that's the way. You know, some of you might say, I can't afford that, and I really want to solve this problem. And how do I do that? I'm really open to finding ways to allow people to become well, allow people to go and become amazing coaches, allowing people to use this information. So let's just talk. Let's find a way. Here's the link. It's richardfluke.com/5 steps apply. Once you go there, what you will find is my it's my website, and there is an online diary. And what you can do is go to that online diary and find a time that suits you to book some time to talk with me. We can talk about the courses. We can talk about you. You can experience some of this work as well. Just basically experience what it's like. And then from there, you can make a decision as to whether this is right for you or not. So I'll give you the link in a moment again. Well, it's richardfluke.com/5 steps apply. So let's come out of screen sharing. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's really the end of the webinar. Let me just go back again because it's come out of recording, and I really want to basically record this for later on. So if you've enjoyed the 5 steps, and hopefully you had, and you gained some fantastic information, please do find some time to talk to me. Just having a look. And then what we can do is we can work out a way to do to make this work for you. Okay. And anyway, I'd love to talk to you very, very soon. We've been just an hour, and it's Richard Fluke signing off on the 5 steps, and hopefully you've enjoyed what you've heard. Bye-bye for now.